I'm serious when I say that I just saved myself 2 years. I mean, I'm dead serious because I was looking forward and it was just one side project and I just never thought that we would get there fast enough. But in this video, you saw the thumbnail. I'm going to show you just how we're able to do that. And maybe some of this information will transfer over to what you're doing in your own collections. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Paul with Spheric Reptiles, and I thank you so much for tuning in today. Man, I think that this video just shoots home to a lot of different people that are still breeding ball pythons. Yes, I know we're still out there. People are still breeding ball pythons, and I stuttered right there, and I shouldn't have. It's right after work, and I'm very excited because now we got this new hole back. I'm in our dining room again, right? I know if you've been watching the channel for a long time, you know that our first collection we built was in our dining room in our other home. Now we moved to another home. And now the dining room is our quarantine space. But if you're watching this, one of the things that I hope appealed to you from the thumbnail is the fact that you can save time, right? And I know it sounds cliche, buy your females first and grow them up. Well, sometimes even when you're trying to make animals, those other animals might be out of your price for where you feel comfortable purchasing something. You don't want to go into debt and buying it. So you just stick around and you hope that you can find it. But in the meantime, in between time, you start doing those pairings. Well, for this animal, which is a male, this is a super gravel clown. And I think for what it looks like, and if we look at how it takes a lot of different combinations to make Pompeiis, right? And I think that's the closest thing to a super gravel clown, right? You can get that with just a super form of the incomplete dominant and the double recessive or 2 copies of the clown, right? I think everybody understands that. But this little guy, who I'm going to name him Lil Wayne, we typically name the animals that we acquire after musicians or rock stars. Most of them are females, so we don't purchase that many males, but when we do, it happens to be something like this, a super gravel clown. But long story short, the reason I bought this is because I'm always looking at how long will I actually physically be able to breed ball pythons or animals or anything, right? You just never know when your expiration date's out there.
You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
I'm not trying to be negative, but it's the truth. And likewise, when it comes to breeding, a lot of the times when you're trying to make those hets and then you're trying to move your project forward, you rarely get to see a visual animal, because if you stay and you say, all right, I'm just going to make visuals, then it kind of holds you back an additional year, even though you'll catch up in a year to 2 when those animals grow up. But if you can continue making your hets and test them out, eventually when you do try to make your finished product, it works. Now, when we were looking at the gravel project, and there was something that I've started looking at a little while ago, like yellow belly and gravel makes the freeway, and then the asphalt, and then you got the super gravels, stuff like that. One of the things that I started looking for in Morph Market and at shows was, how often do I see animals like this? And it's not very often I get to see them. But I see a lot of animals that have the components, but rarely do I see an animal that's the visual expression of the super form of the incomplete dominant. I know that that's something that is rarely touched on in ball pythons. So, if you took the super forms of yellow belly, so ivory, it's hard to make a different version of that because you end up with the white snake unless you maybe get super leopard or something. But with this combination, you can see, and there's no other genes in here other than clown. This is a normal ball python that happens to be super for gravel and clown. I'm putting it back in his quarantine bin, and I can take this out because I see that he peed. I'll have to change that. But he's got to live in our dining room for at least 30 days, guys. And in 30 days, I'll get to assess everything. I'll see if he has mites. I don't think he does, but I don't want to risk putting something that close to our collection. This is on the other side of the house, so that I can actually make sure that he's safe and then my collection's safe as well. And I'll be making this video. I'll have to scrub my hands down and, I'll have to do all that stuff. And so that's why you won't see me touching my body. Pause. So at the end of the day, guys, there's a big difference in owning snakes and setting up a breeding project. So one of the key things that I think that we all should do is when we're trying to breed ball pythons for other people is we should answer 3 questions about whether something's for a project, or is it just based on feeling, looking good? One, does it progress us forward? Does it move your ball python breeding project forward? If you answer no to that, it's on the owning side. If you answer yes to that, that's on the breeding side. Secondly, does it save you time? So when you look out 3 to 5 years, is that time rolled back? You know, time is our most valuable asset. So we need to try to, if you're trying to breed things and build projects, then that's one of the questions you would answer yes to. And if it doesn't save you time, then you're just owning a snake. And the last thing is, does it delay your projects? Right. I asked that question because sometimes you'll buy a pattern morph that is not even related to what you're doing, but maybe it brings in some incomplete dominant genes. And in doing so, it could have no other recessive trace. That's if you're going for that. It might not make a super or anything. So on this side, if you answer yes to you're just buying it for the traits, then that's one that could kind of go sideways. It could be owning or building. And I wanted that to be out there, just a fair balance, because we've made mistakes like that as well. We bought animals on impulse. We've bought animals for projects, but now it seems like now that we're going into our 4th year, wow, this next year will be our 4th season breeding ball pythons. One of the key things that we've noticed is that when we buy an animal, we already know where we want to place that animal before we even buy it. So this animal we got from 802 Clutch out of Vermont. That's a long way from Texas. So I won this from an auction, but hey, you guys go and check out 802 Clutch. All their information is in the descriptions, and of course you can see their information here on the screen. But with getting this animal, this moves us a lot further forward. Now I've came into my room, so I'm gonna use this isopropyl alcohol to spray myself down, even though I've pretty much washed my arms really well and my hands well. I just wanna make sure, guys. I just always wanna make sure. And a little alcohol on the skin doesn't hurt anything, right? So that's one of the things that kills everything. I also have hydrogen peroxide and I have chlorhexidine solution. But anyway, so what I wanted to do is now take the time to actually show you the path that we were on before we actually acquired the super gravel male Lil Wayne. So I'm gonna grab out Jupiter from here. This was our male, and you can see that he's already big enough to breed, right? So right now he's pushing around 800 grams. He's full grown. He's going to breed for us this year. So he is a gravel genetic tested head clown. In our current pairings, we were going to do a head-to-head pairing, and you see just how big he is. He eats weaned, frozen, thawed rats. And he's very active, as you saw right there. It's kind of like, wait, where's the camera? One of the key things that made us buy the super gravel clown was just genetic probability and being able to pass on traits. I'm gonna put him right here, then I'll grab out Mercury. Where is she at? Here she is right here. She's probably gonna have she might have a little feeding response, but maybe not. So this is Mercury. And she's almost ready. She's around 1,100 grams. So we have Mercury and then we have Jupiter. So you see that the size difference, he's actually a bigger male than she is female. But one of the key things that if you're thinking about pairing up, and I'm just gonna shoot these percentages out here. If I breed Jupiter to Mercury, I'm gonna have to hold them both so they don't go slithering away. I got a handful of snakes here. Well, the thing that is the most frustrating is when you're trying to pair up animals, then the chance of you getting a super gravel from these two gravel head clowns is 6.25%. Now, the chance of getting a gravel is the 12.5, and then also, actually it's 25% of them will be gravel, right? Because if we work the Punnett square, and then you'll have some that are super gravel, head clown, and then you'll have some that aren't. But the thing that I really was worried about, I'm always worried about whenever we do a head-to-head pairing, is the animals that don't turn out visual. So the animals that don't turn out clowns and the animals that do not turn out to be gravel or super gravel, then it's a guess. So that costs you money. Now, and it costs you time because it takes time to make the money, but then just to send in the sheds, and then you get it back. You still have to raise up hatchlings with this uncertainty. So one of the things that we really stress is that in pairing up animals that are visuals to hets, if they don't turn out visuals, then you know that they're 100% het. And I'll put them back up as I go and grab another animal as well while I keep talking. So that's the key thing that we're trying to do here, is to make sure that we don't have as many non-hets when we don't have visuals. You might ask why? Because inevitably the way that we work our projects, which is one of the things that I think you could do as well, is you want to produce a visual, but then also be working another step. So we want to make gravel clowns, and then we want to add those gravel to the gravel clown gene or super gravel clown gene. We want to add TSK Exanic, and we want to add Desert Ghost, we want to add Hypo, and then we want to add some incomplete dominance in there as well. So that's where that male comes in, because he will be sexually mature, we're hoping, in 1.5 years. And in the meantime, we can use him to pair to any animal we want. So we got a double head Desert Ghost Hypo, we got a Dreamsicle right here maker, we got a pastel Huffman right here, we got a yellow belly leopard clown here. I'll pull her out. She dropped a big deuce.
I feel 5 pounds lighter. What? Jealous?
So this is Baby Ruth, and you guys have seen her before, but we could actually pair him up to her to make some freeway or highways or whatever the gravel and yellow belly would be clowns. So that would be clowns 100% plus they're going to be one or the other, right? So hopefully they'll be either yellow belly, gravel, or something else, and I'll get the poop out later. Remember, when you pair up a visual, I got animals over here striking the cage because they see other snakes. It's crazy, right? But anyway, when you pair up a visual, so in the case of the super form of the super gravel clown, if we pair that animal up with, where is she at? With SZA.
Took a long vacation, no makeup, just Jay-Z.
SZA dropped the deuce too. So SZA is an orange dream gravel that's head for clown. And you see just how much more growing she has to do. But right now she's on her way. She is what they will call, I will call her a juvenile. She's right around 500 grams. So she's got a long way to go, guys. But by the time that male reaches sexual maturity, she'll be sexually mature as well. And hopefully we'll have some other super gravel clowns to be able to choose from, so that that'll push our projects forward when we're trying to spread those genes to something else. But either way, when we breed that super gravel clown, remember that's a double recessive and a super form of the incomplete dominant to this animal, every offspring will be gravel at the least. And the ones that don't turn out clown will be het for clown, right? Because a het to a visual, it only is a 50% chance you're going to get a clown, right? So when we breed that to SZA right here, then our chances of getting what we want and moving our project forward is a lot better. So we're betting on the fact that we're going to end up with Orange Dream Super Gravel Clowns. I mean, why wouldn't we? That's what you pair up stuff for. But at the end of the day, one of the things that this is going to do is it's going to save us time. So as she reaches sexual maturity, maybe the offspring from Mercury and Jupiter will also be sexually mature, and we'll have other animals to pair up in this project or split off into our other breeding projects. But either way, man, I'm telling you, it makes me so excited. And I hope that this is something that you can use as well in your own collection, and just waiting. Let your females grow up a little bit. So you see we have Mercury and we have SZA who have some size on them. So they're not starting off at 0. In around 1 year to 1.5 years of your female's growth, go ahead and try to look for your male then, because 9 times out of 10, if it's the ball python world at least, that animal will be less expensive than it is today. Like gas prices could be higher, or they could be lower then. I hope that they're lower, but at the end of the day, we know that these snakes won't be the same price, they'll be lower. And that's what we gotta bet on, guys. We gotta bet on the bear in the market to come and knock the prices down some more. I know I sell ball pythons, I shouldn't say that, but this is life. I shop at Walmart. I didn't always shop at Walmart, but now I do, because I'm always looking for the better deal with quality. So that's one of the things that, remember, if you're owning versus building, and then you want to save time on your life. And that's the biggest message about this video. It just saved the time on your life with animals like this. And we got her from Chain Reaction Exotics, and I'll put my buddy Danny's information in. You'll see it on the screen and in the description. But at the end of the day, guys, this is what fuels me into just staying excited about breeding animals in general, breeding snakes. I don't breed any other animals but snakes. So in breeding snakes, it excites me to breed something that A, is rare, or B, just hasn't been seen before in the case of ball python. So I don't mind taking the risk on the breeding when I know that the fruits of the labor will be better than what I've seen out there before. I'm just trying to make something that is either rare or new. Man, I'm telling you, it was a mouthful. I said all that after work, and I was tired after work. Let me tell you, I had on a Hawaiian shirt, had to put this on to get into my weekend spirit. I'm gonna be smoking meat tomorrow. You know, I don't know, I'm gonna cook a whole full grill of meat tomorrow. I mean, I should do a cooking channel, as a matter of fact, because man, my barbecue is on point. If you've had any of that PMAC barbecue, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's sidebar. Hey guys, enjoy this while you can. So the time that you spend with your reptiles, mostly cleaning up poop and feeding, just try to enjoy it. Drink some wine, listen to some music, talk to your snakes like they're humans when you can. They can't understand, but either way, you know what I'm talking about. And then guys, when you split off from the snakes or you have that time with your family, definitely enjoy that time and cherish it because it is so valuable and it goes by so fast. And thank you for watching.